Yeah, as soon as you're confident that it's gone out to YouTube, I just close out. Otherwise, you have that second screen open and the audio talks over.
Okay, gentlemen, we are live streaming and ready to go whenever you are.
Okay, I'd like to call the Human Resources and Public Works Committee to order.
Okay, make a motion to approve the agenda as set with one addition. We'll add in to our third item, renewable ready community grant agreement.
It's been moved and supported to approve the agenda with the addition of the Renewable Ready Community Grant Agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The ayes carried. The item, we have an agenda. Okay. I'll call to the public. Do we have any public?
Don't believe so.
Okay, then we'll move right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Kathy, Deputy Treasurer Kathleen Schaefer.
Okay. Does she want to say anything? Okay, thank you. Okay, with that being the case, we'll move to our first item, which is consider approving the Region 7 agency on purchase of service provider agreement along with the addendums and the business associate agreement, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. We have Jennifer Crawford, our Director of Commission on Aging, here to break this down for us.
Good morning. This is our waiver agreement that we have a contract with Region 7 Area Agency on Aging, and we've had it since 1999. Basically what waiver is, it's when individuals require a higher level of care than what we're able to provide, like they have to qualify for a nursing home placement, they can be referred to a waiver program where Region 7 is one of those. They manage the client's care. They have nurses, they have a lot of other resources at their fingertips that they're able to provide that care to the individual. Then they reach out to agencies in the communities where those individuals reside, and we can help supplement some of their services. So with this, we're able to help provide home delivered meals. If we have availability, then sometimes we help with homemaking or personal care. But the bulk of our waiver dollars that we receive are in home delivered meals. So this would be our contract for fiscal year 25.
Okay. Yeah, I know we've been doing this periodically. Any questions or comments on this?
No?
Okay.
Pretty straightforward. Okay, I make a motion to consider approving the Region 7 Area Agency on Aging purchases of services provider agreement along with the addendum and the business association agreement, and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 4 to the work and regular sessions of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. Item 4 will be forwarded to the work and regular sessions of the county commission.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. Our next item is consider approving, just did that. Consider approving the delinquent water billing roll as submitted by the Board of Public Works, which constitutes delinquent service charges of 6 months or more as of September 1st, 2024 for properties within Lake Isabella Forest Number 2 subdivision, Village of Lake Isabella, Township of Sherman, County of Isabella, State of Michigan, and therefore constitutes a lien on the property as provided by the County of Isabella Ordinance Number 1 of 1975. Okay, we have. Yeah.
That's pretty straightforward. We do this every year. Starting September 1st, if people haven't paid for 6 months or more, they go on this list, and
Lots of times it's the same people over and over, right?
yes, it tends to be that way. So there's 35 accounts this year. It's lower than last year, but I guess that's a good thing.
Now allows us to collect more money,
Yeah.
more money, more money.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, any questions or comments on this item?
No, pretty straightforward again. Make a motion to consider approving the delinquent water bill roll and submit by the Board of Public Works, which constitutes delinquent service charges for 6 months or more as of September 1st, 2024 for the properties within Lake Isabella Forestry Number 2 subdivision. Village therefore constitute a lien on the property. Oops, I missed the line. At Lake Isabella Township, Sherman County, Isabella, State of Michigan, and therefore constitutes the lien on the property as provided by the County of Isabella Ordinance Number 1 of 1975.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 5 to the regular and work session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. Item 5 will be forwarded to the work and regular sections of the county commission next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another item. It's the Renewable Ready Community Grant Agreement. We have Tim Neoport here to give us the breakdown on this.
Yeah, I apologize for the last minute here. Just received it and it's a significant amount of money that can help us out, so.
Great.
State only gives us, state only gives us 2 weeks in this case to have the agreement signed and back to them. So the Renewable Readiness Grant is a grant from through Eagle. It is a grant for communities having in place and being renewable ready. This grant offers $5,000. I think I spoke to the board maybe, I don't know, a month and a half or so ago about this, couple months ago, just in brief. But it offers $5,000 per megawatt of power for a renewable energy project. It's broken into 2 categories. One category is for the permitting agency, which is us. The other category is for the host community, which in this case is Isabella Township, because that's where the solar project went. So total to the county is half of that 5,000, which would be 2,500 per megawatt of power. At 150 megawatts of power is what the application was for. So the grant agreement was for $375,000. And that has been awarded to us from the state. The project itself, just so that you are aware and know, is restricted in how we spend that money. We did apply to spend that money with solar arrays on top of the county building as part of our rebuild of our HVAC system. I know we had talked in the rebuild process about making our HVAC and our heat pump on the rooftop penthouse so that it was renewable ready, so that we could move into some greater efficiencies. These are those greater efficiencies that could do it. This can be changed. We can change that down the road if we're not ready for solar and we need it for other activities, but it does need to be spent in a renewable way. So it may be able to be applied to the heat pump itself, for future solar. But right now we did apply, we did receive the funding, and we just got to get the grant agreement signed and back to them. I don't know if Administrator Frost had anything she wanted to add to that. I apologize for the quick turnaround on this and not having a staff report for you.
No, Tim, please, Director Newport, I applaud you for the quick turnaround. This is the kind of thing I think that the commissioners want leadership to bring forward in a timely manner. So I think the thing that sticks out about these funds is that it really allows the county to do some of the things that we really wanted to do in the Johnson Controls performance contracting project, right? That never came to fruition. And really the cherry on top for those projects was solar on the roof and being a leader in this space, right? And showing the community what you can do and with renewable energy. So we've got a great opportunity here. I think a lot of times in the equations to figure out if this kind of investment makes sense is how long are you going to be here? And we all know county government's going to be here. So it just kind of takes that out of the equation and it just makes these things right for our application. Facilities Director Shoemaker and I met with Spicer and some folks from a couple different solar companies here in Michigan, and are looking to hopefully add solar rooftop panels into the rebuild project, right? Because this is the best time to do this, not later, but now. So I applaud you for bringing this forward. Thank you for filling out the application, and here we go.
Yeah, and this is funds to be utilized by the end of 28.
Okay,
So we've got some time on it. It's nothing that we're rushed into. I will also say that recently and at the groundbreaking for DTE, I began to hear DTE talk about a 158 megawatt project versus the 150 that we permitted as a planning commission. We spoke to them a little bit about that, and the project actually is 158 megawatts instead of 150. We didn't expand the footprint in any way. We didn't impact the permit. Our legal counsel has reviewed it.
Mhm.
We didn't impact our permit where they'd have to come back. We'd have to do a site plan amendment or anything like that. It was physically efficiencies within the electrical componentry that they had in place. So once their mechanical and electrical engineers got a hold of this thing and really started planning this project out, they were able to get on the same footprint in the same area,
You'll have
a little
time.
bit extra.
great.
And so I had already applied at the 150. So I reached out to Eagle a few weeks back and talked to them about that. And they are going to amend the grant agreement after we sign it. They already had this in process.
Mhm.
So they're gonna approve this at the 150 megawatts.
Mhm.
They're gonna give us the 375. And then what they're gonna do is they're gonna amend the agreement. And they're going to give us an additional 8 megawatts, which is an additional $40,000 split, 20,000 to Isabella Township and 20,000 to us. So it will be a little bit higher than this in the long run, but again, our due diligence, when I started hearing 8 more megawatts and financially where we sit, $20,000 is $20,000. So
Definitely.
we figured we would speak with them about that, and they've agreed to do so.
Wow, that's just great. And I'm sure it will encourage other possibilities of solar farms and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Especially, once you do it, makes it easier the next time and
Yep.
people see the benefits and
Yeah,
help from the state.
we're seeing already, additional communications about other projects. Not necessarily solar, but there's 2, relatively significant projects, that, we're beginning to have communications with, applicants and, they're both looking at 26 probably for permitting. So another year or a little over a year away, but one of them is another, turbine project. And a bit smaller than the one we have to the north
Mhm.
here, but it's still another turbine project, as well as I'm currently working on some language for BESS, what they call battery energy storage systems. So it's ordinance language to allow for offsite battery energy storage. So it's similar to like a substation, but
Mhm.
there's containers with batteries and they're able to store the energy. It allows these power companies to take the solar during the day and load it up into batteries, and then the wind at night and load it up into batteries. And when we don't have a sunny day or we don't have a windy night, they still have this capacity to be able to kind of even out the flow of the grid to make it a little more consistent long term. And that's a relatively significant project. They're talking, a couple hundred megawatts to 500 megawatts of storage capacity. And the expense of a project like that is as expensive as any project we've seen yet.
Mhm.
Because the battery is of value. It's extremely expensive, but the footprint is pretty small. We're talking like, 10, 15 acres total for
Mhm.
500 megawatts, where we have, hundred and 150 megawatts of solar right now comprised of 227 acres of
Right.
land, or, 136 turbine, or with COs, we have 170 turbines or so, all sitting on about a half an acre site. So,
Wow,
pretty
that's,
significant projects, I think, headed our way. And a lot of that has to do with our leadership in the industry. And, in the state of Michigan, you're just seeing, companies coming to us, and that's on top of the slew. We get 4, 5, 6 calls a week now,
wow.
for smaller 40-acre parcels,
Mhm.
looking to connect, directly to the grid and stuff like that. So I think we're gonna see some trickles of those smaller ones, and I think we have a couple other, relatively large projects, to make us a leader probably in the state, with regard to renewables.
That's great. Great news. Okay, could I get a
Yeah,
motion on that?
yeah, you sure can. I just said that you go up there and go into his township, and it's pretty impressive. You walk
Yeah.
around and, I mean, both sides of the highway, and it's nice to see.
Yep, it definitely is.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move forward the Renewable Ready Community Grant Agreement.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move the Renewable Ready Community Grant agreement to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Aye. I didn't say oppose. I agree. The ayes carry. The item will be forwarded to the work session and regular session of the county commission next week. Thank you, Tim.
Great, thank you. I'll-
Really a lot.
Yeah, I'll put a staff report together and get it over to Julie so that we have it for the full board next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay. Do we have any announcements?
Vote, vote, vote.
That's right. And they're voting in this building right
Yep.
now. That's
Mhm.
great. Okay, anything else? Anybody have?
Don't see any hands raised.
Okay. Then I will adjourn the meeting of the Human Resources and Public Works Committee. Thank you, everybody.